Hi, you are watching SightsIn and this is Romesh. Please do subscribe the channel for the HR news, for HR updates and conversations that happen on CHROs. Today, we are going to discuss about the green talent demand and talent strategy. Recently, report is also published by the LinkedIn Global Green Skill Report 2023. And if you look at the data, so the demand of sustainability expertise, green skills, green talent, that is increasing every year. And even it is outpacing the supply according to this report. Here the HR plays very important role. How to recruit such people, how to identify such people, how to upskill the existing workforce, and how to train the new workforce, the fresh talent. So that is, and according to the organizational sustainability plan. So that is a big challenge for the CHROs, that is a big challenge for the HR leaders. Today, we have two senior HR leaders here. We will try to explore that what are the green jobs, what are the sectors which are hiring the green talent, and what is the report. And we will try to have some more ideas about the green energy as well. So let me introduce Ms. Sarmistha Roychowdhury. She is the former CHRO of Power Exchange India Limited, and currently she is a research scholar at TISS. And another panelist is Mr. Sanjeeb Lahiri. He is the Chief Human Resource Officer at GRP Limited. Sanjeeb, first, I would like to come to you. And I think if we can start the discussion with that, what are the green skills and what are the green jobs and what are the sectors which are hiring the green skills and green talent?
Thanks, Ramesh. Privileged to be a part of this panel. See, first, let me just decipher the term green once. I'm sure all of us know it, but just to put things in context. I think the term became famous after the organization started adopting the UN SDGs. Right? And sustainability, the word sustainability started getting mentioned in the boardrooms much more than it ever did in the past. Now, but if you're talking about green technology, green jobs, green sectors, is it a new sector that has come into the world? Probably not. Yes, there are certain organizations who are focusing very, very much and deeply ingrained into sustainable practices, sustainability as their core, like the one I represent. However, there are quite a few. I mean, I'm sure that the others, with the focus on circularity, sustainability, for their commitments towards the ESG or for their requirement of the GRI, etc. reportings, have adopted some of these, some practices which we can broadly term as the green practices. Right. Therefore, is it a specific sector? No, it is overarching. Of course, there are organizations which are into it very, very, very. I mean, very much. If I talk a very little about my current organization, GRP is in its golden jubilee year, and we had started sustainability when green was a color in the paint box. 50 years back, green was not a corporate lingo at all. Right? We are into recycling. We are one of the world's largest recyclers of rubber, polymer, compounding, and some grades of plastic. Now, being said that, I would also put in another aspect. Why is green getting so much of importance and more important, and also in our country? We would have heard about this term called extended producer responsibility, EPR. Now, India is one of the countries in the world, and probably one of the first countries in the world to have enacted the laws where it says that if a producer, does not have an oversight on how their products are consumed and not just left to rot, they must ensure that the product has a natural circle of life to complete. We are into the rubber sector. Very, very simple example, a tire. right? A rubber tire gets sold by the tire producer, gets used in the vehicle, end of life, goes in for landfill, or goes in for some amount of, you know, some amount of upcycling, recycling, you can call it. But also mostly it is burnt for energy. Burning the tire leaves out greenhouse gases, not at all healthy. And now, how would a tire producer have an end? I mean, how would they even know where the tire has been used and how is it going to end? That is where this EPR, the secondary producer responsibility laws have come into our country, where it makes mandatory for organizations, and there are quite a few intermediaries who have come in between, who are actually helping the producers to fulfill their producer responsibility norms. In this context, now if I look at that, what is the opportunities available? One, there are plenty opportunities available for people to support organizations in their quest of sustainability. A. B, there are skills required to support organizations, say for example, legally on these new terms, on these new laws. C, there are organizations which are serving as intermediaries. If I can only name as an example, there are plenty others, but say for example, say I know this organization called Recycle. Recycle is actually creating the bond between the producers and the recyclers, right? One of them. There are plenty others. Yeah, I'm not demeaning any one of them, just for example. And then there are organizations which are actually really coming up new, like say the Ola scooters, the e-scooters, the battery manufacturers, blah, 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 blah. Therefore, you see the surge that the LinkedIn report has actually produced, has actually, published. There is a huge opportunity. And I think that is what our talent need to actually look at, both our existing talent and the newbies who are who are planning to join the workforce soon enough. A very long answer to a very important question, but I thought I've answered you,
Of
Ramesh.
course, but I think very beautifully you have explained about the purpose and everything, and what are the sectors are into this green energy as of now, and hiring the green talent currently. So, Sarmistha, if I can also start taking certain points of this report. So, the first point of this report is that the demand for green talent is outpacing supply. It is comparing with the 2022 and 2023, which was 12.33%. Now this is 22.4%. So it means there's a huge demand and supply is less. How do you see the green talent jobs, the trend of green talent skills in financial year 2024?
Thank you, Ramesh, for this question. Very nice question. I think if I was just going through various reports and made an extensive search on the web. See the trend, what I can find in FY24 in India are expected to be very positive and very promising also, as the country is seeking sustainable inclusiveness and green growth. Now, India wants to be the excellent fact is India wants to be the global leader in green energy and sustainability. Some of the factors which I found may influence the green job markets are the government's trust on fast-tracking green growth, such as enhancing the public capex spending on infrastructure, introducing on the national data governance policy, and deploying new age digital technologies like artificial intelligence, etc. The rising demand for the green jobs in various other sectors, such as renewables and environment, corporate services, manufacturing, public administration, and construction, and so on and so forth. The shortage of the talent in the green sector, which may create opportunities for upskilling, reskilling, and training of the existing and potential workforce. So the increasing awareness and inspiration of the young generation to pursue the green careers and contribute to environmental and social issues would be great. That is my take on this.
Yeah, Sarmistha, thank you. Sarmistha, if I take a few more, findings of this report. So there are several sectors, almost every sector that needs the green talent. Maybe country-wise, we can, the United States, they are taking in every sector, but in India, it is not in every sector. Maybe in some of the sectors, 6, 7 sectors, we are using the green talent as of now.
Yeah.
But the report has highlighted 3 sectors right now, which is very important. These 3 sectors play very important role in sustainability target. Currently, one is the energy, because we use the hydrocarbon here.
Yeah.
Second, that is the transportation, because now we are converting it to the electric vehicle. So this is the reason. Another is the finance that provides the loan and other funding for these all the green technology projects, for the green all the projects where the sustainability that is that is on the prime objective. So how do you see in this, that how the HR leaders they can do the mapping of these skills, the mapping, and they can plan their manpower planning overall, they can do it.
Thank you for the question. And I think this is again very enlightening, and it is indeed very important. Look, the mapping, the green skills need planning, talent strategy, and important steps for the organizations to achieve the environmental sustainability and social justice goals. Mapping green skills also needs to be involved, identifying those skills required for each role and team in the organization, assessing their current and future skill gaps. So that skill gap mapping is to be very important. Planning talent strategy involves designing and implementing learning and development programs and initiatives, talent acquisition, retention policies, career mobility, succession planning, and performance and reward systems that are aligned with the green skills that need the needful of the green skills, whichever is needed. Some of the benefits of mapping these green skills and planning talent strategy, I would say, is enhancing organizational agility and competitiveness in the changing market conditions. Number 2 would be unlocking the full potential of the workforce, increasing employee engagement and satisfaction initiatives, and contributing to environmental and social causes, and increasing a positive impact on the society. That's very much important. And at the same time, I would say the 3 countries which requires, the carbon dioxide emission reduction. The main 3 things are the carbon dioxide emission reduction, use of renewable resources. All of these are very important, and we need to remember the 3 countries which I was telling, that is China, US, and India. All these countries are emitting more than 50% of the carbon dioxide. Unless these 3 countries take urgent initiative, it will be very difficult to control these kind of emissions. And so it is very important, not only in terms of skill addressing or skill mapping, but also a policy initiatives. Policy initiative and commitments from these 3 governments is very, very important over and above what I have said. So that's my take on this.
Yeah, absolutely, Sarmistha. Policy institute, that is very important. Sanjeeb, if you look at the India has also planned a way that, and also the target is to be zero carbon, or you can say carbon neutral country by the 2070. And this is for all the industries, they need to work on some cultural shift for the towards the sustainability. That is very important. So as a HR leader, how do you see that, how the HR leaders can drive this cultural shift towards the sustainability?
See, the HR leaders are definitely, I will say, we are the catalysts. However, all leaders in the industries need to walk the path, need to definitely walk the talk, right? As if I put on the practitioner's hat now, if we have committed, and okay, and I'm saying this because my organization is a proud signatory to the Resource Efficiency and Circular Economy Industry Coalition that was announced in the G20 this time. So basically, we are a part of the global few who have signed and taken on the cause onto ourselves, of course, representing our country in that forum. Now, the organizations are, for example, say facilitating or promoting the use of electric vehicles. Now, if But from where does it start? Starts from the leaders like us, maybe. Yeah, starts from the organizations like us. For example, in our organization, I think approximately 60% of our energy comes from renewable sources, and we are expanding on that. Yeah, we are a zero emission, zero effluent organization. Not from today, we have been there. Now, organizations which talk about it, they have to lead it. If we are talking of, say, reduce the use of paper, that is one of the, say for example, one of the UN SDGs is, I think, SDG 12 is about responsible consumption and production. So out there, if you say, okay, we will reduce our ways of our use of paper, and then we need to bring in facilitating policies, procedures towards that. Now I say, okay, we will reduce paper, but as an organization, we have not done as much. We have not probably adopted the digital practices. I can't expect my employees to do anything like that. Therefore, I think, I mean, in a nutshell, leaders and organizations who are leaders in their own industry sectors, they need to actually practice what they preach, and they need to really, kind of lead by example in terms of what it is doing to them, right? If we look at the ESG reports filed by the organization, or the other kind of sustainability report, there are plenty as such. I mean, GRI, I think BRSR, few of them. If we look at the trends that this organization are reporting, and if there is a very conscious effort, I'm sure it is going to actually show a very, very positive trend to be motivating others to actually come. So HR has a big role to play, because who actually has the connect with all the people, formally, informally, it is us. And so in that role, we act as catalyst, but in our leadership role, we become the propounders of our preachings.
How do you find the role of HR in driving the sustainability agenda for the organization?
I think the role is very critical. I mean, as CHROs or leaders of the HR, we play a very, very sensitive and very critical role, because we may not directly manage the functions, but we are facilitators. So as a partner in the business partner function, or as a role of CHRO, I think managing the organization with the human capital is very crucial for green technology, in terms of green technological innovations and implementation. As CHRO, I would say the green technology is part of our responsibility, as Sanjeeb was saying. We are mapping the green skills and the needs of the organization, and we need to assess what is current and what is going to be the future skills that may be needed. Accordingly, we should drive initiatives. In fact, when I was in my earlier role, I was also planning, executing the learning and development department with programs. Even the talent acquisition, retention policies, career mobility, succession plan, whichever function you say, for that moment, performance and initiative drives also aligned with the green skills that are needed, because that's critically important. And unless we collaborate with other functions as external partners to support the green technology initiatives, I don't think so organizations, other leaders would be able to suffice it. So since we are the people players, we are the people influencers, we need to take critical stand from our function. So it's very important.
Yeah, as an organization, so what is your talent strategy when we talk about the hiring the green skills, when it is about the upskilling your existing workforce, aligning with the organizational sustainability goal? What is your talent strategy?
Yes, I mean, the talent strategy is indeed key, and Sarmistha has actually alluded to that. I will just take a step backward. First is the availability of talent, because whatever we are saying green, till last 5 years, 7 years, maybe 10 years, the term was getting repeated. Currently, it is at the implementation phase. So if I say, do we have those many green skills, quote unquote, that we need? We don't. Honestly speaking, we don't. Therefore, there are two approaches. One is develop the skills in the current workforce, and also maybe to contribute in developing the skills in the future workforce who are still yet to join the workforce, right? So I think there we play a very, very important role through the industry academia collaboration. I think we can actually influence the academia to get in similar types of courses, which will help us in maybe recruiting for the future. But for today, the entire focus is on I think two main things. One is what skill do I need to develop? Yeah. And B, if I am really doing a new thing, how do I really embed that process in my day-to-day life? The ways of doing things. Once again, very small example, going digital. Right? It may not need an entire reskilling intervention, but it would need a lot of practice and the conviction to stay there. Once we have adopted digital, we must stay that. We are not going back to the legacy systems. Therefore, HR definitely would, in its processes, in its approach, in its call it policies, call it the systems. We would need to probably ensure that this is the way to work and so on. This will mean anything doing new is not as easy. Therefore, there are a lot of interventions that we need to do. So the interventions may be as simple as communication. The interventions, it may also be creating a focus group. Yeah, actually finding finding answers to the "what's in it for me" question for everybody. Now, I'm in manufacturing. Manufacturing lives because of its workforce, the blue collars, if I may, who actually run the machines. So if they say, why should I turn this machine off when it is not in use? So what's in it for me? And probably getting there, telling that this is not only the good thing to do, it is the right thing. Approaching there, and trust me, having been in the function for little reasonable period at this point in time, and once we are able to actually show people what's in it for them, to actually show them that this is not only a good thing to do, but it is the right, because it is impacting us in this way, I'm sure the job is done.
Yeah, absolutely. The survey, this report also, reveals that only 1 out of 8 employees has the one green skill. There's a skill gap, absolutely. Sarmistha, would you like to add here something? What is your comment?
Yes, I think Sanjeev have told very articulatively, very nicely. Adding to little bit of what he has said, I think this is definite that the skills are deficient. There is a skill gap. And how organizations should follow is maybe, I think, first they need to identify the strategic business objectives and the green skills that is needed for the organization to assess the central and future skill gaps. Then designing and implementing the learning and development initiatives like online courses, workshops, mentoring, coaching, focus group discussions, project based learning, etc. After that, it needs to evaluate and monitor the learning outcomes and the business impact of the reskilling and upskilling, and provide feedback and recognition to the learners. Because unless we motivate the learners and we show them a roadmap, I don't think so they would be motivated in this perspective. And then the organization as such needs to have a culture of continuous learning and innovation of the green skills. Because at the end of the day, the ESG is very important for the organizations today, and encouraging them to pursue green careers and enhance their future employability and allow them to upskill regularly will definitely help. In this perspective, we know that government has taken multiple steps. Like, government has supported upskilling and sustainability of the green technologies in terms of National Solar Mission, which aims India to be the global leader in solar energy. National Electric Mobility Mission Plan. It encourages the electric vehicles, as my panelist was saying, my friend was saying. Then the government launched programs and missions to address specific areas on the green technology, such as renewable energy, sustainable solutions, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India, WEF 2021, the report says. So these steps would help boost and develop the green technology in India and help the country to be more greener and more sustainable and have win-win, things. That is.
Sanjeeb, I think we tried to discuss the demand of this green talent, green skill, how we can, cultivate the culture, and what is the role of HR. And would you like to share anything else which is important and we did not discuss here as a concluding remark?
I think we have kind of covered. See, my only take here is, and this is a particular message for people who are looking for a change. Number one, or people who are just choosing their career. This is these types of jobs, call them green jobs, or these types of sectors, call them green sectors, are actually coming up very fast. And I think these are the ones that are going to really define uh, how the country lives its commitments to the Mission 2030, and also how does India, contribute or maybe lead the world in its commitment to sustainability. There's enough. These jobs are also available within the traditional sectors. However, a lot of these organizations or groups that are coming up in this sector are, you can call them as non-traditional. There's a huge demand of skills like yours. So definitely take this as and I would call it very honestly, as we used to call way back in the 80s, or maybe during the Y2K, that the IT and the process and the so-called ITS industries were the sunrise industries. I think today green sustainability circularity is the sunrise industry. So definitely I look forward to lot and lot of people joining this movement. At the same time, the organizations who are already in this space, and people who are already focusing on maybe doing something new, do not miss this opportunity. My 2 cents, whatever it's worth.
Right. Sarmistha, any of your final comments?
I think it's all good. One thing we can do, in order to bring more of the green skills, we need to have some innovative recruitment strategies to hire individuals with the green skills. So I think, encouraging team member as referrals, being an HR, I go around with the HR things only. But what happens is, if a company is lacking people with green skills, I think while we recruit, we can encourage the team member as referrals who have green skills or who are interested in green careers. Secondly, we can consider the past candidates who have already applied in the previous roles but were not hired, but they may have the green skills. That skill can be tapped for future opportunities. Also, maybe, welcoming back the former workers who are familiar with the company culture and expectations, and maybe easier to rehire them. And we think that they may have gained green skills or experience elsewhere, can be valuable. Then investing in resourcing tools, like for example, sourcing tools can be AI, artificial intelligence, data, automation, to identify and engage, nurture potential candidates. Embracing alternative staffing solutions, so which can offer flexibility, scalability, and cost effectiveness. And they may be freelancers, contractors, they may be consultants, gig workers, can provide access to green skills and expertise. Also, gamification, which is always a very interesting way, can help assess the green skills and potential candidates in a fun and interactive way. Because gamifications, we may use various quizzes, simulations, other puzzles, challenges, etc., can help that. And last but not the least, maybe host virtual job fairs. So what happens is, virtual job fair can, help showcase the company's green initiatives and values, as well as we can attract and connect with these candidates who can have their green skills or maybe have interest in such kind of jobs. So I think these are the few, in the recruitment perspective, also we can tap
Right.
the green energies skills.
Right. You have
And
brought very
that's how.
interesting point in the discussion. Thank you so much, Sanjeev and Sarmistha, for joining the conversation and being the part of this. Thank you so much.